All right, guys. 5 separate exercises that hit all 5 major muscle groups in your upper body. Hey guys, Mark McKill here with Live Anabolic, and today I put together a really fun upper body workout that only requires dumbbells. And you can do this at home, guys. It's real straightforward. And I'm going to be using a bench today, but you don't need a bench, all right? You know, several of these exercises where I'm laying down on the bench can be done on the floor just as easily. I just think you get a little bit better range of motion when you have a bench, and it's a little more convenient when you're doing several other exercises. So I really do strongly encourage you guys to get a bench. Just get on Amazon and search. Now you're gonna find some benches that are pretty cheap, like $79. I would avoid the super cheap ones. Go for the next level up, you know, kind of in the $100 to $130 range. Make sure you get a bench that has a back that inclines and declines, and that's all you're looking for. They're lightweight. You can pick them up and carry them around real easily, and it really will make your workouts much more enjoyable when you're using dumbbells. So today's workout is just upper body, and this is for you guys out there that like to break your workouts into upper body and lower body. All right. So there's a bunch of guys that do that. It's a blast. All right. I'm all for that. Matter of fact, my Fit After 50 program actually uses that method in one of my phases. All right, so this is not the exact exercises that are in my Fit After 50 plan, but these are some really good exercises that hit basically all the muscles in your upper body. But before I get to it, all right, I just want to quickly remind you about a free resource. All right, you guys, your ears should perk up when I say free. I mean literally free. So click the link below. Check out our Facebook page. Totally free. It's fantastic. I think we're up to 17,000 men now around the world. It's all a bunch of old farts like you and me. All right, so they have the exact same questions and problems that you have. I'm on that site almost every day. I try to answer every single post that's made on that Facebook account. So check it out. I promise it's the best fitness group on all of Facebook. And guys, what can I say? It's free. Okay, so guys, I have 5 different exercises today, and I'm gonna step you through each individual exercise, and I'm just gonna kind of describe the form and the things that I'm feeling, you know, in my head, my mind-muscle connection, and things that I want you guys to consider, or maybe even things to avoid, all right? But before I show you the exercises, I wanna let you know, if you're putting your own workout together, okay, using these exercises, there's 2 different ways you can do it. I'm going to start recommending this, or these 2 different ways, on a semi-regular basis when I shoot videos, because a lot of guys are watching this all over the world, and you guys are in different states of fitness, basically. So some guys, their primary goal is, man, I got to lose weight. I need to lose lots and lots of body fat. And it would be nice if I built some muscle, but that is not my priority. My priority is getting rid of the body fat. And then there's other guys watching, all right, that might be in better shape, and they might have relatively low body fat. And those guys are focusing on how they can build muscle. That's their primary goal, is to build muscle. And then it would be nice, as a secondary benefit, if they could also lose a little bit of body fat and get a little bit leaner, okay? And that's the category that I'm in, okay? So if you're in the first category, you want to lose body fat, primary goal, build muscle, nice, but secondary, I want you to do these 5 exercises in a circuit fashion. So that means you're going to do one exercise, and then with very little rest, do the second one, very little rest, go to the 3rd, 4th, 5th, okay? So you're going to do the exercises in order, and you just do one set of each, and then you move on to the next one with very little rest. So what that does is it creates a really intense workout, in that you're going to get your heart rate really high, okay? You're going to be out of breath. You're going to be gasping by the end of the 5th exercise, all right? That is one circuit. That's when you can stop and bend over, you know, and rest for a couple minutes. Catch your breath. Let your body basically filter out all the lactic acid that's been built in those muscles during that one circuit, okay? Then you just start the circuit all over again, all right? So you guys, need to do at least 3 circuits, okay? If you're in a little bit better shape, you should do 4 or 5 circuits, all right? Now, that's group 1. That's the body fat loss guys. Now, group 2, the guys that want to build muscle, okay? Muscle hypertrophy, all right? I want you to do each exercise, all right? And I want you to do at least 3 sets, probably 4 or 5 sets of each exercise. And I want you to rest in between each set, probably a minute, maybe 90 seconds, just depending on how hard you push yourself, okay? And then after you do 3, 4, 5 sets of one exercise with rest in between each set, okay? Then you move on to exercise number 2. Same repeat, exercise number 3, et cetera, et cetera. So for you guys, your heart rate isn't gonna get really high, right? Because after every single set, you're stopping and you're resting. So what's going on there is you're allowing your body to basically flush the lactic acid out of that muscle, all right? Catch your breath, reoxygenate those muscle fibers so that they're ready to hit the next set really hard and intense, all right? So that method, okay, that I'm describing right now is great for building muscle. And that's what I typically do when I'm at the gym, all right? So 2 different ways, guys. The first way is a HIIT style workout. It's circuit training, which creates, it's basically a high intensity interval training, okay? And it raises your resting metabolic rate for hours after the workout's over, which means you're gonna continue to burn more calories, all right, than the guys who do this exercise with the second technique, all right? So those are the 2 differences, and you get to pick which way suits your goals the best. Okay, so the first exercise is the dumbbell bench press. Now, you'll notice that I have the back of this bench set at a slight incline. Traditionally, I like to spend more time with a slight incline, okay, because that adds a little bit more emphasis to your upper chest versus your lower chest. You still work the entire chest, but most guys have a weaker, smaller upper chest, and so hence I always like to spend more time with slightly more emphasis on the upper chest. Now, pick a weight, all right, that's tough for you to do, you know, kind of 8 to 12 reps. That's what you should be shooting for. And for you guys that are particularly in shape and strong and don't have real heavy dumbbells at home, your dumbbells are gonna be so light that you're not gonna reach fatigue in the 8 to 12 range, all right? So I'm gonna talk about your predicament right after I finish this set, okay? So here we go. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now guys, I'm gonna put these down and talk real quick here. If you need to, rewind the video a little bit so that you can look at the form, and I want you to pay attention to the range of motion, okay? So at the top of the movement, I was not quite locking my elbows out, and I wasn't bringing the dumbbells together. I was leaving them separated. When you do that, that keeps some stress on your pec muscles, okay? If you lock your elbows out and bring your hands too close together, then the weight's gonna be transferred through your bones and your joints to your shoulder, and your muscles are not really gonna be doing a lot at the top of the movement. They'll be basically resting, okay? So that's what it should look like at the top of the movement. You should be about right here, okay? Don't lock out and come together. So about right here, see there's still stress on my pecs. And then of course, I was going all the way down until the flanges of the dumbbell just barely touched my chest here. All right, that tells me I've gotten a really good deep range of motion. And of course, that's really hard to do if you're just laying on the ground. That's why having a bench is really valuable. It really does add to the quality of your workouts. And then the other point I wanted to make was Some of you guys are not going to have heavy enough dumbbells. So mine only go up to 50 pounds. And for me, 50 pounds on bench is super easy. I mean, that's considered a warm-up weight for me. So to make it hard for you guys at home that don't have real heavy dumbbells, okay, you're just gonna have to really slow things down and do more reps. So when you're doing your reps, really go down slow and controlled, and then hold it for 0, 1, 2, and then slow and controlled up. And what happens is, even though that may not be a heavy weight for you, you're adding so much time under tension because of how slow you're going that it's going to really make the weight feel artificially heavier than it really is. And that's a great way of making what would otherwise be a fairly easy set much more intense. Okay, so exercise number 2 is a great exercise for your back. So we started off with chest. Now we're hitting our back with a 1-arm dumbbell row. Now, guys, your back is a big, strong muscle group, okay? And that means typically you can lift a lot of weight as long as you're using good form. Now, it's not the same. I'm not talking about your lower back. A lot of guys have got, bad lower backs, and so you're thinking, why is Mark saying my back is so strong? I got this terrible lower back. Your upper back is really strong. It's the lower back for you guys that have injuries that is the weak point. So this is a great exercise for you guys with weak or bad lower backs. You're going to put absolutely no stress on it. All the stress is going to be on your upper back, and you're going to be able to lift some really heavy weight. All right. So 1-arm dumbbells rows. Okay. I love doing this on a bench. So I'll put my knee up here and my hand up here, and basically the left side, my left shoulder, my left knee is carrying all the weight that would normally be distributed to my lower back. All right. So my lower back has basically got very little weight that it's carrying during this exercise. All right. And so that means you can use as heavy a weight as you want without having to worry about throwing your back out. Okay. So here we go. 1-arm dumbbell rows. All right, put that down. Let me talk real quick about the form there, guys. So what I want you to take away from that little short video is the form and the tempo I was using. You can even go slower than that, especially, like I said, if you don't have real heavy dumbbells. The slower you go, the heavier it makes the weight feel. All right, so I'm starting with my arm just hanging naturally straight down. All right, okay, that's where it's just going to want to go, holding that weight. But I don't want you to pull the dumbbell straight up towards your shoulder like this, okay? When you row, you're rowing by pulling your hand back towards your hip. So your elbow is coming back here towards your hip. And the dumbbell is going to be right back here. It's going to be almost hitting your thigh and your hip. So it's forward, up and back, down and forward, up and back. That's going to get all the muscles in your upper back. And then, of course, moving to the other side, it's real simple, guys. Same thing. You can see this just from a different angle. So see how it's just naturally hanging down? And as I pull up, I come back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! Great exercise. We've already knocked out the chest and our upper back. Now it's time to go on to number 3. Okay, so let's move on to the third muscle group and, of course, the third exercise, and that is our shoulders. Now, guys, your shoulders are pretty small muscles, and your shoulder joint is super flexible, but because it's so flexible, it's also fairly weak, all right? And so I really encourage everybody to warm up. And of course, I didn't really talk about it in this video, all right? But it just kind of goes without saying, you really need to do a good warm up before you get into these workouts. And while I'm kind of, rambling right now, do us a favor, all right? Hit that little thumbs up, that like button. That really helps us out as far as getting this YouTube channel out and about, okay? And having lots of people know about it. So hit the thumbs up button. Hit the share. There's a little share thing where you can send in, type in emails of all your friends that you think would benefit. And then of course, subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. We post, I don't know, 3 or 4 videos a week on here. And we're doing all kinds of really kind of fun stuff. It's not just workouts. There's a lot of nutrition and injury prevention and motivational stuff. So really encourage you guys to just take a few seconds to do what I was just talking about. All right, so this is probably my favorite exercise. And remember, we're doing all this, at home in this little tiny space, in your den with almost no equipment. So this is still my favorite shoulder exercise that I do at the gym with millions of dollars worth of equipment surrounding me, okay? And this is really good for guys also that have shoulder problems, because we're not going to be raising our arms above our heads, okay? So you're going to have to pick a light weight, okay? And basically, I'm going to start with the dumbbells just right in front of my thighs here, and I like to bend over just slightly, okay? And then I'm going to just raise my elbows up to about shoulder height and then back down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now guys, those are some light weights, but I'm already getting a burn in my shoulders. And pay close attention to the form. And the form is how you hold the dumbbells. All right, what is the orientation of your wrists? All right, so when you bring the dumbbells up, I want your palms to be facing down, facing straight down. All right, you're gripping. That will keep the dumbbells level. So if you bring your hands and your palms are facing forward, or your thumbs are near the top, okay, facing up, you're gonna place a lot of stress on the front part of your shoulder, and it's gonna create some impingement inside the joint itself. Okay, so it's much safer, all right, guys, to bring the dumbbell this way than that way. You don't wanna do that. You wanna do this way, and even that way a little bit is fine, all right? So that's the main thing I want you guys to take away from the form I was doing. All right, so the fourth muscle group, and of course the fourth exercise today, is gonna focus on our biceps. This is a fun curling exercise that you do with dumbbells. It's called a Zottman curl. So guys, basically what it does is we're gonna bring the dumbbells up with our palms facing up. Okay, so we're gonna curl up, and at the top of the movement, we're gonna rotate our wrists so that our palms are facing down, and then we're gonna lower the dumbbells. And then rotate our hands at the bottom, come up, rotate at the top, back down. And what we're doing is basically we're calling on lots of different muscle fibers in the biceps to get activated, because we're basically, as we twist our wrists and use different grip techniques, it's calling on bicep fibers to work in slightly different ways, because the angle of the force is coming at them slightly differently. And it's just a great way. That's why anytime I create a workout program for somebody, I will do several different exercises that are different techniques for the same muscle group, for the reason that I just explained. So the best way to really build muscle is not just to do one exercise really well, but to do lots of different exercises for the same muscle group with good form. All right, so follow along. Once again, this is an exercise I don't think you're going to be able to use a lot of weight. Okay, so we're starting in the position here with our palms forward, and I'm just going to bring the dumbbell straight up, rotate, and then down. Now I got to rotate at the bottom, up, rotate, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew. And guys, all that rotating at the top and the bottom increases the time under tension. So each rep actually takes longer because we're doing all this manipulation with our hands versus just a traditional hammer curl. And so that's why you can't use a very heavy weight. So the form is more important than the amount of weight you're using. Okay, so here we are to the fifth and final exercise, which of course is going to be targeting our triceps. So I break the body or the upper body down into 5 muscle groups, and that is neglecting our core. I realize we're not doing any ab work today. So the core, I guess, would be your 6th muscle group. So, but we're really just focusing on the 5 primary upper body muscle groups except for your abs. Now, the last one is a 1-arm skull crusher. Now guys, you can do them with 2 arms simultaneously. That's a great way, especially if you're in kind of a pinch for time. All right, this way obviously takes twice as long, but I like to do it 1 arm at a time because it really allows me to focus on that single muscle. All right, and I can get a better mind-muscle connection. Then also I can use my offside arm to stabilize my elbow. So let me show you real quick what I'm talking about. All right, so guys, you cannot use a lot of weight. All right, so I'm gonna use my left arm on my right elbow to try to keep my elbow fairly stable and, you know, in the same location without moving a lot. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I'm gonna keep talking here real quick and explain that at the bottom of the movement, the flange of the dumbbell was coming just to the side of my ear, and I could feel it touch, just barely touch my shoulder, okay? That way I can feel and I can know that I got a really good full range of motion, all right? So that's what you guys should be feeling, all right? So here I am on my left side, stabilizing with my right hand. See how I bring it down to past my ear, and it just barely touches my shoulder right here, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh. All right, guys. 5 separate exercises that hit all 5 major muscle groups in your upper body. Nothing but some relatively inexpensive dumbbells done right here, you know, in your den at home. You don't need a big area. And this is actually a really good workout, guys. So depending on how you decided to do it, whether you did it the circuit training style, which gets your heart rate real up, real high, and burns a lot of calories, okay? Or if you did it with the second technique where you do 1 set, rest, 1 set, rest, and 1 set rest of each exercise, and then move to the next exercise, that's gonna build more muscle mass. Yes, you are burning calories. Yes, you're gonna burn some fat also, but not as efficiently as the first technique. So guys, all around the world, that's the neat thing about these workouts that you do at home. And I try to make them flexible because of the vast array of guys watching right now. I mean, there's guys all over the fitness spectrum watching these videos. And so that's why I try to keep them really flexible and easy to adjust and modify for your particular fitness level and what you're shooting for. And then the other thing is, guys, come on, like always, You got to stick with it and never give up on yourself.